Are you looking to play the free hit chip this week, or are you currently unsure if you want to play the free hit chip this week? Well, I've got two managers who are both looking to play the free hit chip this week. Both of them having really good ranks as well. So they're going to be discussing what their current team looks like before the free hit chip, what their free hit draft looks like, and as well as some reasons as to why you should play the free hit chip, and if not, what can you do? All of that is going to be answered in this video. So let's get straight into it. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the free hit draft video. I'm joined by the FPLSideNet podcast, basically. It's the football chatbox / FPLSideNet collab that you've been waiting for. I'm joined by Pete at FPLSideNet and Andrew, FPL Point Break. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks, Ryan. Pleasure to be joining you tonight. I feel like this is like the Marvel Avengers. Like we're finally coming together.
Exactly.
For that big epic meetup.
Andrew, how are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Optimistic about the last game of the game week, or the last games of the game week tomorrow morning.
Yes, I'm hoping for some massive Mitoma points. And also for hopefully FPL to change the rules and give Solimarch his points.
I'm hoping they don't. I don't have him.
Fair enough. If he doesn't get his points, I hope at least he hauls tomorrow. So we'll see. But you guys are having probably a really good season, doing so far. Pretty good looking, like I would say. Significantly better than me at the moment. You're planning on playing your free hits this week. And so I just wanted to bring into the conversation like your current teams and maybe give an idea to people who are watching as to like what would be a situation where they'll be in, like where they have to decide whether they should play their free hit or don't play their free hit, or even a wildcard. And we have a wildcard video coming later as well, which will be out on the channel after this. But we're going to be talking free hits. So I'll start first with Pete, your team.
Sure.
So I basically went and added your team into FPL.team. And went to Gameweek 28, and this is how the team would look like before any transfers would be made. So you've got 2 million in the bank as well. So what were your reasons behind thinking about planning the free hit for this week?
I think my decision was made a couple game weeks ago once we knew the outcome of the Liverpool Fulham game. So with that one not going ahead, I'd sort of made up my mind that, okay, my strategy now is I didn't want to take lots of hits just to sort of limp through. And the free hits there for, a situation like this or target a double. But I feel like the game week 29, my side is sort of fairly well set up for anyway. So I can bench boost still in 29. And I've still got my wild card too, which is quite handy. I'm not 100% sure when I will use it yet, but I'm thinking after the next blank, like maybe game week 33. But yeah, for this instance, I didn't really see a point in loading up on Brighton players for this double, only then to sort of like drip feed them out and get them back in again, because they're going to have, I think they've still got another 2-3 games up their sleeve.
Yes, that's true. But so you already, okay, so you didn't want to like take them all out. You've got Trent as well in this situation. I guess when you look at your team right now going into double game week 29, almost everyone on this team does double in 29, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't really need to, I guess you can make, you'll have one free transfer in 29. You'll be looking to take any hits as well to maybe adjust the team, or?
Yeah, I think because I plan to bench boost in 29 and being such a big double, I think I probably will take a hit. So I'll definitely make 2 transfers. And Trent's double isn't the best on paper, and he's a bit of a cash cow there, so maybe he might make way. But I've sort of, the rough plans I've made, it's probably looking like Erdegaard, who only has one game, which is against Leeds. I'm really tempted to move him for Maddison for the double, because that Leicester double in 29, I know Andrew's so keen to get Maddison into. That's probably the best one, and I'm sort of trading out one game for the double at least.
Fair enough, because after that they follow Liverpool as well in the next.
That's right.
Yeah, in game week 30. Fair enough. Moving on to Andrew. This is currently your team. You are probably in a similar situation, I guess, to Pete. What was the reasoning behind the free hit?
Yeah, well, if you look at my team, it's actually a lot worse setup for 28 than Pete's. I think Pete had 7 players. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I had no choice but to free hit. But basically, my decision to free hit this week was pretty much set back in game week 25, 26. I never liked the idea of wildcarding in 26. I know a lot of people did, or even 26 or 27. I mean, people that wildcarded in 26, 27, they were pretty much looking to maximize the game week 27 double, get through 28, and then also be set up for 29 and hopefully bench boost. But I thought that using the wild card then there was too many compromises. Like people had to pick players, for game week 28 that they probably wouldn't have picked if it wasn't for the blank game week. So people were choosing 3 Brentford and 2 Brighton. I think that Brighton have got better assets and better fixtures. So I wanted 3 Brighton and 2 Brentford, for example. I wanted to keep Salah. I didn't want to keep Salah for the Man United fixture. I wanted to keep him for the Bournemouth fixture, but I guess 21 points over 2 weeks. I'll take it however it comes. So for me, what I really wanted to do is I just wanted to maximize game weeks 26 and 27, get the players I wanted for those game weeks, and then just deal with 28 when it came, rather than have 28 in mind when I was making my transfers or if I was wildcarding. So I guess that's the reason why I basically just forgot about 28 when it came to everything I was doing. And then obviously when I've come to 28, I find, I've got this team that in no way is playable. So I pretty much had to free hit. But same as Pete, I've still got my wild card. So, and I'm still pretty well set up for 29. So I guess I don't, again, same as Pete, I don't know when I'm going to wild card. I'm thinking ideally I'd like to do it in sort of 33 or 34 and set up for those 34 and 37 doubles. But I guess if there's complete carnage in the international break and I come back from the international break with half a dozen injuries, then I've got that wild card there where I can pull it and set up for that game week 29 double. And then obviously I'd have to save the bench boost for down the line, but at least it's that safety net as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a good point, because you have that option, because we don't know what will happen in international break. I mean, players could come back injured, they couldn't come back injured as well. We don't know. I guess the other thing is, for me, when I played the wildcard in 26, obviously variance didn't go the way we would have expected it, with Salah Hall in huge and then 0-pointer. It's like the complete extremes of variance in 2 game weeks. Then you got the Brighton midfielders. Now you managed to get Mitoma and McAllister, both who are performing, some on the other side of the coin. But I guess the difference is you're probably in a situation where most who wildcarded in 26 probably went on a triple Brentford with double Brentford defense.
Yep.
And if you look at the double in 29, it's not the most appealing double as well, where you probably don't expect them to keep a clean sheet in either games.
Yep.
Whereas you guys are in a situation where you could even take a hit if needed be, and also get rid of your Brentford defender if you think of doing that as well. Whereas others might be in a situation where they're not looking to do that, and also you have Haaland still. Whereas a lot of people in 28 who are not playing a free hit or anything are looking to kind of move Haaland out as well.
Yeah, I've got absolutely no plans getting rid of Haaland before Liverpool at home in game week 29. Like that, the way Liverpool defend, that could be just as big a haul as a double game weeker. So I'm very happy to bench boost in 29, with a few really good single game weekers, including Haaland. I don't think you need 15 double game weekers for a successful bench boost, as this week's shown, because I've got 20 points on my bench this week.
Yeah, fair enough. I wish I played my bench boost because I had 27 on my bench, but all because of Gabriel decided to score. The one time I benched him, he decided to score, but it is what it is. Having said that, let's move on straight to your free hit teams, because this is what the people are here for. Pete, take it away. This is your current free hit draft that you sent me.
Yeah.
Obviously, just to let everyone know, we're recording this before the Europa League fixtures, which could kind of play a part, given that Arsenal are a team that will be heavily featured across for everyone, whether they're playing the free hit or not playing the free hit, or even playing the wild card. And then we also are recording this before the Brighton game. So Brighton and Brentford games, you never know. points could change minds. So
That's right. Points, injuries,
yes,
goals that may be awarded and then taken away and then given back. So we just don't know yet what's
exactly.
going to happen in the next 24 hours. But so yeah, this is my current draft that I'm sort of thinking of rolling with, and I sort of call this like the safety draft because it sort of ticks off. I'm thinking everyone that sort of wild carded earlier would have had, they would have had their triple Brentford. They definitely would have had Trippier in there as well, and you probably iron off getting, they would have had triple Arsenal as well. I'm sort of thinking, or at least double. So this sort of covers off those bases, and most of these players have been in my side anyway. But it sort of goes along trying to just tick off the major items. So yeah, keeping Trippier in that side, keeping double Arsenal midfield, and Ivan, Toney, and Kane. So I have a feeling they're going to be extremely highly owned just for this game week alone, because they're basically the foundation of everyone's side at the moment. And, whether or not you're wild carding, free hitting, or just limping through taking hits, I think most of these players will be there. But I do like the excitement of having Ben Chilwell in there. So he was definitely one of the first names I was keen to get, along with the Polish Cafu, Matty Cash. Once I decided a few weeks ago I was going to free hit 28, Matty Cash was up the top. So I was so excited. Once the game week had passed, I just quickly put him in straight away. I was very excited. But the other one there is Madison in there, and I've decided at the moment I'm sitting with Heung-min Son, and while Spurs haven't exactly been setting the world on fire, he did get a goal the other day, which is very handy. And I mean, I don't know what you guys like, but I just have these fond memories of Heung-min Son back in I think it was the 2020-21 season when he scored 4 goals and Kane assisted all 4 as well. And his record against the Saints is insane. So I think I was having a look earlier today. So he's played them 14 times. He's got 10 goals and he's got 5 assists. So it's a ground that sort of breeds, a lot of attacking returns for him. And although a lot of those Spurs sides in the past have been much more entertaining than this one, the chances might still be there. But yeah, the other big one there is, Ollie Watkins in for the game week over the Nordic Meat Shield himself. And some smart bench options there. And, I'd love to play them all, but unfortunately I can't. But at the moment, that's how I'm sitting.
Fair enough. I think I said this on Monday as well, on the stream on Monday, where Heung-min Son is one of those players who could be a very shrewd move for this week.
Yeah.
And also, I think if Perisic doesn't play, I've been saying this quite a lot this season, if Perisic doesn't play, Heung-min Son is a significantly better player, because both of them, like when Perisic is on the pitch, both of them occupy the same space, which is very annoying because they get in each other's way, and then that reduces Son's appeal as well. But we've seen Ben Davies play in the last game. If Ben Davies continues to play this week as well, I think Son could be a really good opportunity for this week, because he'll take all the set pieces, except for the penalties, to take everything, crosses, free kicks, and could also get on the end of something that a wildcarder or even a non-wildcarder will not go for. Only free hit managers can go for that.
Yeah, and then that's what I was thinking too. I mean, with the free hit, you tend to want to do something a little bit exciting. And I mean, I always stay more on the cautious side when it comes to FPL, but the option to get, a big premium like Heung-min Son just for one game week, a lot of managers, like you mentioned, if they're just limping through this game week or they wildcard already, Heung-min Son will not be in anyone's side. He's going to be so lowly owned. So if he can recapture that form that we've seen the last few seasons, then it'll be happy days. But yeah, it's for 1 week, it's worth the punt.
Fair enough. Andrew, do you have any thoughts on this?
Oh, I really like it. I mean, there's not really much you can say to criticize it, to be honest. The Sun thing, I'm very tempted by as well. But, I am sort of mindful of my free hit that I played last year, where I took a fun punt on Romelu Lukaku in a double game week. Yeah, a really good double game week. Yeah, that guy. And I think he came on with 5 minutes to go in one of the games and maybe got half an hour in the other one. But it was a 2.0 over a double game week. And so, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that fun punts on a free hit can be overrated. But having said that, I don't think that Son is in that same category. He's a really good pick. I mean, when we get to my team, I don't have him in my free hit. He's probably the one player that I don't have that I want, but I've got my reasons for having all the other players, and I just can't really fit him in. But yeah, he's a great pick to have. And yeah, like I think this week there's a lot of good defensive options as well. There seems to be like a lot of good clean sheet opportunities. So yeah, I think the defense is going to be very strong this week. It's just a matter of choosing the right defenders from the right team. So the defenders I've got in my team are slightly different. A bit of crossover. But yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know whether you should gamble on the teams that you think are going to get a clean sheet, double, triple up on them, or try to spread that risk. And yeah, that's something that I'm still wrestling with. But I think Pete's done a really good job here because he's got the double Chelsea defense, but he's also got the coverage from Villa, and obviously Trippier is, he's an absolute gun. So having Gabriel first on the bench, that could be some more pain for Pete this week as well. Yeah,
fair enough.
But I think the front three picks itself, so I won't talk about that too much.
Fair enough. Are you not worried about Villa's defensive numbers?
A little bit I am, but when I've been watching Villa recently, I don't know, and this is sort of a bit of a fun part of doing the free hit. Like, I really like Matty Cash. I've always really liked watching him, and getting him in my side last year was a lot of fun too. So I just think with that Bournemouth fixture at home, Emery might have the side just maybe wound up just a little bit tighter to sort of make sure they keep that clean sheet and get a bit more of an advantage off the relegation pack that had sort of hot on their heels. So Matty Cash, I mean, he used to be nailed for 90 minutes every game, but this season he tends to play about 80-ish or so and then gets taken off. So if that's the case, I quite happily take that, because if he's got the clean sheet locked down and 80th minute his number comes up, I'd be more than happy with that.
Yeah, they've got it's got the attacking potential with him as well. So don't necessarily need a clean sheet from Villa for him to return for you.
Yep, true. Fair enough. Because Bournemouth's defensive stats are also equally bad, probably, I would say. Yeah. Are there any players from this draft that it's not on here that you would love to have, or that you're thinking about?
Yeah, well, I'm going to wait and see what happens with the Arsenal game in the Europa League. So, I mean, I'm fairly certain that Saka will stay, because, I mean, he has been a little bit off the last 2 game weeks, but I have a feeling that that's going to be short-lived. But I'm tempted to switch Ødegaard maybe to Trossard. He looked absolutely fantastic the other day, and coming up against Crystal Palace, I probably want to, put one over them too, just for the old Brighton fans' sake. And or the other one might be Martinelli. So I'm really interested to see what Arteta does on Friday morning for us, and then that'll probably make that decision there.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, because they're currently tied in that. So whether he puts out a strong squad, or does he go with a not as strong but enough to maybe get them over the line, we'll have to see what he does actually. And the final question is captaincy. Are you settled on Saka as armband, or is it like still undecided?
I think it'll be, for myself, it'll either be Saka or Kane. I think on paper they're probably going to be the most popular captains for this game week. So yeah, I'm just seeing the way Crystal Palace are, like, they look so poor. Like, what is it, like 3 games in a row they haven't registered a shot on target, and Arsenal seem to be scoring goals for fun. So I think if all goes to plan in the Europa League, I'll be probably keeping the armband on Saka.
Cool. All right, let's move on straight to Andrew's team. Now, the difference between no Son and having Son, I guess here you've gone triple Arsenal, and it's Trossard, the man on form, that's in here. Talk to me about it, Andrew.
Yeah, so the triple Arsenal midfield, that's like my vibes pick for this free hit for sure. The way I see this week is that there's 3 fixtures that I really want to target, good home fixtures, and that's Arsenal home to Palace, Chelsea home to Everton, and Villa home to Bournemouth. I think that maybe the Southampton and Spurs game might be a bit overrated in terms of a targetable fixture, just because Southampton are absolutely scrapping at the moment, and at home at St Mary's have actually been pretty decent recently. And as Pete said, like Spurs aren't really attacking that well, especially away from home. So I think that maybe that fixture is a bit overrated. I've still got Kane in my team because it's Kane, and he can score in any game. But so those three fixtures that I mentioned are the three that I really wanted to target. So I've got triple from both of those teams. I guess the decision I've got to make, I had to make, is like, which of those fixtures do I get attacking assets from, and which do I focus on defensive assets? And for me, even though I think probably Arsenal have got the best chance of a clean sheet out of all of those three, I also think that they've got by far the best attacking asset. So if I wanted three Arsenal players, I think I want three Arsenal attacking assets. I've gone for the three midfielders, whereas with Villa, for example, the only attacking asset I want is Watkins, and so it makes sense that the rest of the assets I choose are going to be defenders. And with Chelsea, the best attacking assets are defenders in Chilwell and James, so it makes sense to me to double up on those. So there's a few decisions that I've got to make in terms of benching order and stuff. Do I go all in and go triple Chelsea and play Kepa, or do I hedge my bets a little bit and play Cash and Martinez for a double defense from Villa, and then James and Chilwell for the double defense from Chelsea? So, but yeah, that's kind of the decision I've got to make. But I really am pretty set on the triple Arsenal midfield. It's just which three midfielders. It feels wrong to leave out Martinelli. But just Trossard was just amazing last week, and the comments that Arteta made after the game, he heaped so much praise on Trossard and talked about how important he was in that game and to the team. And I just can't, as much as there is a risk from Jesus coming back, I can't see Trossard being at risk this week. Maybe he gets subbed off at 70 minutes or whatever for Jesus, but he certainly, I don't think there's any risk of him not starting. So for me, it's just, again, see how the Europa goes, and then choose after that which three Arsenal midfielders I want. And then the reason why I can't fit Son in is because I just need to have Maddison. So if I want to have three Arsenal mids and Maddison, then there's no room for Son, unfortunately. But I think that Maddison has been amazing the last few weeks. His teammates haven't finished any of the chances he's created, but it's a matter of time before they do. And I can see him exploding this week. I really can.
Yeah, like Iheanacho, if only he was a bit more clinical, I think Maddison would have had a haul in the last two game weeks.
The thing about Iheanacho, though, he usually is quite clinical. He's had a couple of bad weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to turn around and call him a bad finisher because he's had a couple of bad games. I think that he is actually overall a good finisher. So, he's going to revert back to that sooner rather than later, hopefully.
The Reece James pick, I guess that's another thing, like the Heung-min Son pick, very shrewd right now, obviously, because of Reece James' minutes risk. Not a lot of people are looking to go there. I guess currently he's flagged on the FPL site, but I guess if he starts, you look at potential returns, most likely attacking as well. And I guess if he doesn't start, you've got the cover up for Trippier on the bench as well, just to come on, just in case.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the thing about James is that under no circumstances do I think he's a good pick to have in your team permanently, but for a free hit, he's perfect because he has missed a couple of games. Last week he missed through illness, so I'm not too concerned about the flag. It's very rare that a player misses with illness 2 weeks in a row. So the fact that he has missed a couple of games and should now be over that illness and fit, I mean, in my mind, it increases the chances he's going to start because he has had a rest. His muscles have had a rest, and that's what they're concerned about in terms of his injury record. So, I feel like there's a good chance that if he's over that illness, that he will start, and that for obvious reasons, other people aren't going to have him. You really only free hitters have an opportunity to own him. So he, especially if for some reason Havertz isn't on the field, if Havertz gets subbed off or doesn't start for whatever reason and they get a penalty, and he's probably going to be on that penalty. So there's a lot of upside with him this week, I feel.
Yep, fair enough. And I guess finally with the triple Arsenal, it's like the Brighton question. Which Brighton midfielder do you get? So Arsenal are probably in the same situation. Again, well, like I asked for Pete, if there was any player here that you would want to get but you don't have, who would it be? Or if there are a couple even?
Probably, the two is probably Son and Martinelli. I wish I could have 4 Arsenal midfielders, but I can't. But yeah, no, I really do like Son, and I know that Maddison is sort of on, like, he's managing an ongoing knee kind of injury, a little niggle. So he is going to miss a game here and there. So I'm just going to keep my ear out for the press conferences, because if he, if Brendan Rodgers is a bit coy about him, or it doesn't sound like he's 100% nailed to start this week, then I can very easily just change him to Son. I probably would need to downgrade my bench a bit, which is fine. I can, the third bench option can turn into like the cheapest player on the site, no problem, and I'd be able to get from Maddison up to Son. So I've got such a strong bench only because my first choice 11 doesn't cost all of my budget. But yeah, I think so Son's really the only one, and then as I said, Martinelli. But you can only choose three Arsenal mids, so you just got to hope that I've chosen the correct 3.
Yep, fair enough. And then the final one is captaincy. You've gone Saka as well. Is that final, or still there may be other players that you might be looking at?
No, it's absolutely not final. I'm really struggling with captaincy this week. Saka is obviously a good choice, so he's my bus captain at the moment. But I can see myself captaining Kane. I can see myself captaining Tony. I think Tony's being overlooked a bit. He's home to Leicester. Leicester are one of the worst defensive teams in the competition, and I think he's being overlooked because people are you're reacting to that blank that he's had in the first game of the double. If he'd scored that header in the first game of the double, and then say he scores tomorrow morning as well, so 2 in 2, then I think everyone's talking about Tony as being possibly the best captain option in this game week 28. But no one's talking about him. But home to Leicester, like it doesn't matter who you are. If you're home to Leicester, you're a captaincy option. So I am thinking about it. I think that it could be an opportunity to captain someone that Halls and not many other people are captaining. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of thinking to do between now and the deadline.
Yep, fair enough. And then one final question to both of y'all. Now, obviously, in that striker slot, both of y'all have Watkins, and he is also one of the options that people are toying with, either for him or for Havertz. Now, you guys don't have Havertz here, and both of those players are currently in the conversation for Haaland replacements. Thoughts on Havertz as an option, even for free hit, or even for like those who are looking to bring him in as just a replacement? Or
I think Pete should answer this question. He's our Chelsea correspondent.
Part-time Havertz truther as well. No, I love Havertz, and he has clearly been probably Chelsea's best player over this recent turn in form. But I don't know. I think Watkins' current goal scoring form, it's just too hard to ignore. And I don't know. I just have a feeling Watkins against Bournemouth at home, like it ticks the right boxes of like a player in form, the easier fixture, and at home. And yeah, Kane is Kane, so he's not going anywhere. And yeah, like Andrew was talking about, Tony against Leicester at home, I can't see him coming out too. But yeah, I am sensing a lot of debate between Havertz and Watkins, and I'd love to have Havertz in my side for this free hit. I really would, but I'm going with head over heart here. So that's why I chose Watkins as well. I think he looks unbelievable, and he's one of his Achilles heel the last few years has just been like his finishing, and he seems to have turned that around recently, and hopefully that form and that added responsibility, because there's so much on his shoulders now at Villa. Like there's like Danny Ings isn't there anymore, so it's all on him to put the ball in the net, and he is getting multiple chances a game. So yeah, for me, I think he's a better option than Havertz.
Fair enough. And then obviously I forgot to ask this. Pete, looking at Andrew's squad, what do you think about it? Anything that you would do different, or opinions?
I really like the Chelsea double up in defense, so I'm so jealous of that. I mean, I've got Kepa in goals, but yeah, for me to get James out, it's either sacrificing Trippier in there and getting in a different keeper. Maybe I could get Ramsdale in instead of leaving Gabriel on the bench. But look, I really do like it, and sort of having that triple Arsenal midfield. Like, not many managers will have that this week, and like you mentioned before, Ryan, like that headache of which asset do we have for Brighton. So everyone sort of got 2 out of the 3, and people that had Solly March are really angry at the moment. But but the problem with Arsenal is there's like almost you can have 7 players in your side. Like, if you could have like more than 4 or 5, we'd probably all have it this game week. But I do like that too, because that fixture does scream goals, and the rest of the side is very similar to mine. So I think it looks awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, Pete.
Okay, so I think the other thing to kind of mention is, given that y'all haven't played the wildcard yet as well, you already know what the wildcard template looks like. So it kind of helps to like maybe not only cover, like you mentioned, Pete, in the earlier part with regards to EO and covering of certain aspects of some popular players, but you can also make these differential picks like Rich James in this one, triple Arsenal here. Watkins, I guess everyone is probably at the rate of people on Twitter. It looks like people are going for it. But then obviously the slight differences are here. You make a few slight, I would say, sword picks that you're hoping that could move you up the ranks as well. So looking good in terms of the drafts from both of y'all. Any final comments from either one of y'all with regards to what you would do, like for someone who's thinking of free hitting? What would be maybe the requirements needed?
I think that if you've got 8 players playing this week, then that's probably enough, especially if you've got to, make a free transfer to make it 9. I don't think you should worry about playing with 9 players. But if you've got less than that, then it might be something to consider. But yeah, that's really I think that both Pete and I, we kind of set a path to free hitting in 28 3 weeks ago. So it's not like we just woke up and looked at our squad and thought, oh, we better free hit. So I think most people that are free hitting this week, they probably would have in the back of their mind known that they probably were going to a couple of weeks in advance. But if you are in the position where, you've got a couple of injuries or, suspensions or whatever, and all of a sudden you've only got sort of 7 or, I think that maybe you could consider it, because I think it's important to remember that this is probably going to be the biggest blank. Blank game week 32 is probably going to be something that we can navigate by making transfers from 29 onwards, with that blank game week 32 in mind. So, a lot of people are saving their free hit for a future double game week. And as I've said on the pod with Pete a couple of times, the risk with that, when you're using a free hit in a double game week, you're replacing players that can score points with other players that can score points. So there's a chance that you're going to replace, you're going to take more points out of your team than you're going to put in. Whereas with a blank game week, you're replacing zeros with numbers. And so there's only upside. That's why I like playing it in a blank. And so if you're going to play it in a blank, why not play it in the biggest blank, which is this one? So for someone that's on the fence, maybe just have a think about how can they navigate blank game week 32 with just transfers, and then do they really want to target a double game week with their free hit? And if they're a bit iffy about that, then maybe 28 is the best week to do it. But if you do want to do it in a double game week, there is equally you might transfer out more points than you bring in, but equally there's more upside in a double game week than in a blank. So it could really pay off for you. So it's just it's that classic FPL saying, it's team dependent.
Yep, fair enough. Pete, anything to add to that?
No, sort of, just what Andrew was saying. Have a look at your sides. Have a look how many players you have there. And it's not necessarily the number you have, it's more the quality. So I think if you can get by and you've got like the main hitters in there, say you got like a double Arsenal midfield, you got your Kane, you probably got Ivan Toney in your side already because you've got him in for this double, and you might have at least 1 or 2 Newcastle defenders. If you've got enough sort of around the fringes of that sort of base of a side, you should be okay to get through this game week. But if you're sort of compromising 2 game weeks down the track just to sort of make this game week work, then yeah, maybe think about using the free hit here, because like Andrew said, you're replacing players that don't have a fixture, or many managers out there might have someone like a Peterson still in their side, or a Bueno. Like at most you might just get an appearance point at best. So swap them out for someone that you might be a bit more exciting, and see how that goes.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. So that's basically what I've got for today. Do you guys have anything to plug?
Pete, you're the SideNet plugger. Let's hear it.
All right. So yeah, you can join if you like the sound of Andrew's voice and my own. You can join us on our weekly podcast, the FPLSideNet podcast. So that usually comes out every Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, but we will be recording a special episode tomorrow morning after the game week's finished. So we'll both be hyped up on coffee and probably some nice breakfast after we drop off the kids at school, and
points,
have a bit
hopefully.
of a fun look at, and hopefully a lot of points on the menu too.
Fair enough. The links will be in the description for anyone who's looking to find them. Obviously available on the Apple Podcast and Spotify as well. So make sure to follow Pete, FPLSideNet on Twitter, and Andrew, FPL Point Break on Twitter as well. And thank you all for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you are new, and if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments as well. Once again, finally, thank you to Pete and Andrew as well for joining us. And yep, thank you all.
The storms we chase are leading us, and love